Hey guys, this is Ernesto and welcome back to yet another video. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. I'm having a wonderful day. So today we're going to be covering a portrait session that I did with KOLD FUZION. What I want to talk about in this video is basically vision, rapport, wardrobe, light, posing, and composition. Those things all combined together to help create a wonderful portrait. So stay tuned and we're going to get straight into it after this. Alright guys, welcome back. So we're gonna get straight into it. So the first thing I want to talk about is vision. Vision is very important because if you don't have a clear vision going into a session on what is it that you want to get out of it, it's not going to be a very successful session for you or for the subject. I went into this session thinking about getting a particular shot from an image that I showed the subject. Now, the shot that I was looking for was basically of a gentleman was relaxing, laying back, and you know, that shot to me looked very cool. However, when I try to put the subject into that position, something similar to that position, laying back, it wasn't working out. We're gonna review it really quick, figure out which hand position works, and then we're gonna change up your expression on your face a little bit. Okay. And see if we could get a different look there. And then with the combination of the hand movement, either you're looking at the camera or you're looking at the light, and then putting together with the facial expression. And the reason it wasn't working out was because of the wardrobe that the subject had on. It was just looking disheveled and it wasn't looking right. So because of that, I basically changed up the vision slightly, not completely, but I changed it up just a little bit so I can get rid of that disheveled look on the clothing so that it's not as distracting. So having a vision, guys, is so important because if you don't have a vision, things are not gonna come together. All right, guys, so now let's talk about rapport. Rapport for me is so important. And this is the first thing that I try to do before I even touch the camera, before I even touch the lighting, is build a rapport with my subjects. Now, with KOLD FUZION, we talk all the time outside of photography, but the minute I pick up that camera, is a totally different situation. Getting your subject to basically give you a proper expression that you are looking for out of that image, you gotta break down the barrier. So for this particular session, the one thing that we started to talk about that just got them a little bit more comfortable is about a party that they generally do every year. It's called bow ties and heels. So we just started to talk about the bow ties and heels, which is basically what this shoot is about, the bow tie.
Some call it some and be like, hey man, do you mind me taking a picture of your shoes? And then I can take a picture of it and upload it immediately onto Facebook. If you understand what I'm saying. To get people, you know,
There's things that can link up, like that camera there can link up to my phone, and when I take a picture, the picture will be on my phone.
Oh, you know what? The action cams do that.
Sony, the Sony
ones via Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. Every time you take a picture, or you could stop and start it from your phone. Yeah.
So you could probably do that, and then you could upload it to Facebook.
All right, guys, so the next thing I want to talk about is wardrobe. So wardrobe is so important to any photo session that's something that I plan like way before the photo session even happens. So for this particular photo session, like I mentioned before, KOLD FUZION is having an event with his girlfriend that they have like every year. I think this is like the 4th year or the 5th year that they have it. It's called bow ties and heels. Now the guys wear bow ties and the ladies wear heels. And the purpose of this photo session was basically to capture the guy, right? Which in this case is KOLD FUZION. And the most important element in this particular shot was basically the bow tie. I wanted to make sure that the portrait that I capture incorporated that elegance that this event is all about in this portrait. So that was very important for me. So when we picked out, you know, the bow tie, and we picked out the suit and all that stuff was very important in order to make sure that this image comes together. So guys, when you're planning your session, make sure you plan your session with wardrobe in mind. It's very important. All right guys, so now let's move on to the light in this image. So from a lighting perspective, I utilized two Elinchrom D4 lights. Now, the main light had a softbox on it, and the backlight had a grid on it. Now the backlight, I was gonna utilize that for a hair light, but I changed my mind and I basically started to utilize that just to highlight the background just a little bit. It was just putting a beam of light on the background, which was pretty cool when I looked at it in the camera. So that's what I decided to, that's how I decided to use that backlight. All right guys, so now let's jump into the pose in this particular setup. So how did I come up with the pose? Go straight back to the original vision. I was trying to go for a cool vibe, right? That was the original inspiration behind this image. Now, in all the inspirational image that I gathered for this particular photo session, I found that if the subject was basically laying back in a chair, that would be a cool pose. Now, we tried it. We took a couple of shots. I tried a couple of things and it just wasn't working out. And the reason it wasn't working out was because of the wardrobe. The wardrobe was just looking disheveled and it wasn't looking right. It wasn't coming together right. So we tried fixing things and trying to make sure that it worked properly, but it just wasn't working. So we changed, or we basically attacked that problem head on. And what I did, I basically said to the subject, hey, why don't you just move forward and sit on the edge of the chair and let's try that. And that's what we did. And that came together lovely.
All right, so what I want you to do is come forward to the edge a little bit. Come forward a little bit more to the edge. And then put your hands on your knees, like, you know, yeah, like that. Hang on. I'm gonna have to, yeah, look, just turn your head a little bit and then chin up just a little bit. I might have to adjust the light, but let's see. Yeah, definitely have to adjust the light, but don't move. Let me change my power to 8. My aperture to 8, because I can't, 3, 4, because I can't move you back anymore. And that light up there, yeah, that light up there, I'm gonna have to move. Yeah, these look actually kind of cool. Yeah, I think I'm liking these better because the other ones laying back, the suit was just not getting right.
All right, so now let's talk about the very last thing in my process on building a portrait, and that is the composition. If you cut off the wrong thing or you don't include the right thing, then the whole image falls apart, right? So making sure that you compose the image in such a way that it, one, conveys the message to the viewer, it captures your subject in a flattering manner, and overall, it makes you as a photographer happy with what you're seeing on the back of your camera. So, I mean, there's obviously other things with respect to composition, but those general things, making sure that the message is communicated to the viewer, I think is by far the most important thing, because you don't want the viewer to be looking at something other than what you want them to be looking at. So in my particular case, the viewers, I want them to be basically focusing on the elegance of this shot, and most importantly, that bow tie as well. So I don't want them to be distracted by anything else. I make sure that my composition is a little bit tight so that it could be concentrated in that area to show that, hey, this is an upscale event. You need to come dressed properly, and you need to come to dress with a tie, you know? So by composing my shot in such a way, there is no other message, or there's nothing else that the viewer could be looking at to say, what is this about? Why am I looking at this image? There's only one reason they could look at this image, and that is because it's an upscale event, okay? So composition is so important, and it helps with the messaging of your image to the viewers that this is intended for. So it is very important, in my opinion, to make sure that from a compositional perspective, your composition is saying the right message to the viewers. In closing, I just want to say thank you very much, first of all, for watching the video. And secondly, I just wanted to say, in all the steps that I outlined in building my portrait, I did not anytime mention what camera that I was using. I didn't mention what lens that I was using, because in my opinion, camera doesn't really matter. Guys, use whatever camera you want to use whatever lens you want to use that's appropriate for that situation or appropriate for your subject. But at the end of the day, gear is not as important as making sure that you have a vision, making sure that you have a great rapport with your subject, and making sure that you ultimately capture the essence of what you want your viewers to see. That is the most important thing when it comes to photography, in my opinion. I don't think gear is necessarily so important. It helps you captures what you want to capture, which is, you know, the camera helps you captures that ultimate vision. But it doesn't really matter what camera you use. So just use whatever you got, whatever it's a kit lens, whether it's an entry-level camera, doesn't matter. Just make sure that you have a vision and you have the appropriate steps to execute that vision. So that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Put some comments down below. Let me know what you think about this video. And guys, if you got this far in this video and you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys on the next video.